What's going on, guys? Live in Harlem. About 1,000 people are gathered in the streets in New York City right now in Harlem, protesting NYPD policy towards fair evasion and unpermitted vendors. Right now it looks like they're trying to take the street. So I gotta be aware of what's going on. I'm not gonna be focusing too much on the chat unless I get to a place where I can kind of focus. There's a lot going on. I'm gonna turn the camera around as soon as I get it clean. All right, so this is protest is November 2nd. There was a huge protest in Brooklyn. Close to 2,000 people gathered after police NYPD attacked a couple of fair evaders. One led to guns being pointed. The other one led to a young kid being beat up, included punches to the face. So this is a huge... Matter of fact, let me just turn this camera around so you guys can see what's going on. Looks like there's some action up front. I'm going to try to see if I can get up there, get a little bit closer to the front of the line. Got a lot of media out here. There's a large police presence, extremely large. The impact of the last protests hit mainstream media so hard that NYPD, I guess, was forced to go and allocate a lot of resources to this protest. I'm on 126 and 5th Ave. We're hitting 5th Avenue.
Yeah, they do.
Pardon me, sister?
Yep.
All right, so I'm going to try to get to the front so I can see what's going on. Right now, it looks like the protesters are just weaving through the streets. There's a large police presence, and so, of course, the police are going to try to slow down the march. So right now, I think they're just weaving through the streets to kind of like make it hard for the NYPD to stop them.
NYPD!
Got the sage burning out here.
NYPD! NYPD!
You guys got to bear with me. I'm shooting. Not only am I live streaming, but I'm actually taking photos at the same time, so I want to make sure I don't lose any gear, nothing falls off. As you can see, NYPD has their officers on patrol bikes, allows them to stay ahead of the march much easier than being on foot. Looks like the protesters stopped for whatever reason. I can't tell what's going on. So much. There's so many protesters here. There, guys. So I definitely knew this was going to be an extremely big protest. But November 2nd was the last one, so it was at least 20 days to prepare and let people in the city know about this. So I want to say it's close to 1,000, if not more. And it's always hard to do a head count at an unpermitted protest. But there is a large amount of people here. We got the officers who look like they're trying to block off the street. Let me turn this camera around. And the protesters are just going to go around a little. It looks like the officers try to set up a roadblock here, as you can see. Try to set up a roadblock. The protesters are just going to go to the next street. They're going to go around it. There's an arrest being made. going to move to the front of the protest.
Flag, they're looking for the flag.
I'm gonna try to get around, head to the front. As you see, I do have a lot of experience. I've covered over 100 protests, and arrest is not common. I know how far to go. Usually if you give the officers about 10 feet, when you got camera gear, they're usually just gonna tell you to get back. As you can see, that was a little bit intense though, but there's a lot. You can see people in the cars showing support to the protesters. Yeah, the cops are hungry out here. So the difference between this protest, if you've seen my last scope from the November 2nd protest, they deployed the SRG unit, the Strategic Response Group. The Strategic Response Group is the group of officers that actually is deployed during protests to squash protests. So they have twist ties. They are ready to make hundreds of arrests if necessary. There's lots of paddy wagons. I'm literally walking about, if I show you guys, there's about 2-3 vans right there. It's a lot of officers out here. So they're definitely prepared to make a mass arrest tonight. And the protesters were made aware of the risks of tonight's demonstration ahead of time. There was a lot of tweets that went out from the organizers. So it's not a surprise of what was going on. Let me get you guys turned. I don't even know what street we're on. It's the crazy thing about when you're covering a protest, and before you know it, you're hundreds of blocks away from where you started. Let me see. Let me get a idea. We're on Park Ave now. The protest is heading, I don't even know which direction we're going right now. I can see the Metro North. You have the Metro North up here, so we are on 129th. All right, so we're not that far from the start of the protest. There's a large group that's already head down that direction, and then we have the rest of the group. So there's hundreds of people who are still walking right now. You can see there's lots of people in the street right now. You got a band, there's a live band out here. Alright, I'm gonna keep it pushing so I don't get pushed too far to the back of the protest. I mean, yeah, you got to bring a band, man. If you plan on being in the streets for a couple hours, it kind of makes sense to bring some entertainment, right? All right, so for the people who are just now jumping in, I hate being the faceless voice. So for the people who are just jumping in, the protest is over. The governor Cuomo, I think about a couple months ago or maybe a month ago, decided to add about 500 new officers to ramp up the fare evasion. So MTA and NYPD has decided that they're going to go and start enforcing. They're going to so loud. I know you guys can hear me, but I can't hear myself talk, so it's a little hard to. Let's see if I can get to a place where I'm not so close to the audience so I can hear myself talk.
We shut shit down. We shut shit down.
So yeah,
We shut shit down.
the Governor Cuomo,
We
I
shut shit
believe,
down. Who shut shit down? Who shut shit down?
Governor Cuomo
Shut shit down.
decided to deploy. Hold on, let me cross the street. Get away from the crowd for a little bit, so I can hear myself talk. So, I believe it's a month or two ago, Governor Cuomo decided he wanted to deploy 500 more officers to ramp up the enforcement of fare evasion in NYC at the MTA stations. With that, there has been quite a few incidents, predominantly black and brown. It's not a surprise. It's usually black and brown folks who are getting the brunt of brutality from police. Looks like there's some more action happening up here. So let me summarize the protest again, so I can get back to tell you what's going on over here. So with the fare evasion and the ramp up of the police enforcement, there's been a few major incidents. One incident now, mind you,
What is this for? Hey, what's
mind you, there is people trying to talk to me while I'm live streaming. He'll find out what this is for. Somebody's going to hand him a pamphlet. Losing my thought. Oh, the fare here is $275. $275 fare to ride the trains or the buses in New York City. Most people, their neighborhoods are being gentrified. Most people's neighborhoods are being gentrified. They can barely afford rent, let alone ride the train. So, with that said, there's been a lot more people hopping the turnstiles and evading the fare on the buses more than ever. My mind is all over the place. I'm watching, I'm paying attention. There's cops around me, so pardon me as I try to tell you guys the information I want to tell you, but also trying to make sure I'm aware of where I'm at. It is not the safest environment. But yeah, with the fare evasion ramp up, there's been a lot more arrests. There's been two major incidents. One was an incident where police pulled out a gun on a young boy. I think he was about 18, not a young boy, but a young man, 18 years old, in Brooklyn, over the 275. They came, guns drawn, to a car full of pedestrians, full of strap hangers, as we call them. We call them strap hangers here. But there were people riding the train. All they could see was cops with their guns pointed out of the window. The cops explained that someone said that the man had a gun. They did not find a gun. When they arrested him, they did not find a gun on him. But they came to the car, the train car, with guns drawn. That was one incident that went viral. There was another incident where there were teenagers from the local high school. One kid was hit several times in the face by an officer as they tried to arrest him. So that was about maybe 3 weeks ago. This protest here is actually a follow-up to that protest on November 2nd. So for those who were asking, what is the protest about? I know it took me about 10 minutes to get you that explanation. This is a follow-up protest to the initial protest on November 2nd. In addition to the fare evasion incidents, there's also 6 people killed in a 1-week period by NYPD. So there's always that. NYPD consistently killing people, usually black and brown. Let me step back a little bit. So the protesters are slowing down. They're slowing the pace of the march down so that they can connect with the group. that they've been separated with as they are weaving through the streets. I mean, it's probably close to 1,000 people. It's really, really hard to keep them coordinated. And so what they're doing now is they're just keeping pace with the rest of them. And if you can look, it's a lot. This is a very huge group of people coming down this small, narrow street. I want to make sure I don't lose you guys in the middle of this stream. So I'm going to plug my battery in. You guys got to give me a moment. These lights are blinding. These red and blue lights are killing me.
NYPD. How do you spell racist? NYPD. How do you spell racist? NYPD. 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 How do you spell racist? 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 NYPD.
As you notice, there's quite a bit of coordination. The protesters have hand signals that they motion so that people in the back rows can actually know the direction. So you can notice all the hand motions. It's actually kind of beautiful to see coordination between such a large group of people in a short period of time. All right, the police are going to try to stop us from getting to the next street. They're purposely blocking the street so that it separates the group of protesters. I'm going to go swing around. Excuse me, y'all. I'm going to swing around their roadblock. And it looks like there's a chance of another arrest. That someone's cussing at an officer here. I am locked.
How do you spell racist? NYPD. NYPD. Fuck you. Fuck you. No. Fuck you. NYPD.
All right, I made it around the roadblock. So as you can see, the police are strategically trying to separate the groups of protesters by roadblocking, making them go around, and it creates gaps. I'm going to try to swing myself back up to the front towards, let's see, we're currently on 132nd, 132nd and 5th Ave. You see the strategic response groups wagon there. You got media. While the action is a little, for those who are used to my legendary cipher stream, I will be hitting the cipher at some point. It may be very late, but I am a journalist, and when it comes to matters like this, these kind of prioritize over the legendary ciphers. The team knows I'm here. I will show up as soon as this gets to a point of a climax and maybe it starts to die down, and I feel like there may not be any more marching. There's a chance they'll probably try to take a subway station again. If it gets to that point and it seems to die down, I'm probably going to head out and head down to Union Square. So also, I will be taking this feed. This feed will be uploaded to YouTube. And if you want to support, of course, thank you for the people who are throwing super hearts down there. I appreciate it. I will be uploading the raw feed to YouTube so that more people can see it. So if you want to support independent journalism, I am a journalist. You can subscribe to my YouTube. Also, there's a link in my bio where if you don't use Super Hearts or you want to use PayPal, there's ways you can donate and support. Even if it's not monetarily support, you can subscribe to my YouTube. Of course, that helps support. You can cash at me, all of that. Monetarily, socially, social currency is always great. Hit the follow button. I have merch. I have a online store on my website, so there's plenty of ways you can support. I don't spin a narrative when I report these things. I let you guys see for yourselves what's going on. I give you context if I see something that you guys wouldn't be able to see, or if I have some knowledge about what's going on through my experience covering these, I would give you that. But I don't really put a political spin on anything, so there's no left right with me. I'm a journalist and I stay down the middle. So let's see. Turn these guys around. We're bringing the banners. I'm going to try to make sure I stay up to the front of the protest. Got city buses, so yeah, everybody on this bus is going to be waiting a while. Yo.
What's up? What's up?
That was
All right. So what's going to happen is they're cutting through. It looks like they're trying to cut through the projects. I'm going to do the hood thing, and I'm going to cut a way around. I'm going to go take the hood secret shortcut, and I'm going to cut through the projects. The way projects are always set up is there is, as you can see, there's a gap in between, and I'm going to just meet them on the inside. If you ever lived in the projects, you know it's like literally a maze, and you can always connect. And it looks like there are some NYPD spotlights in this project. See those huge bright lights? The NYPD sets those lights up to let you guys see how bright these lights are. These lights are on all night. As you guys see how many people are walking through this neighborhood. And you got some support from the local residents. So I'm gonna cut around, see if I can make it through here safely. And we had just cut through the Abraham Lincoln houses. There's cops waiting on the end. So there is the bridge here. I don't know if they plan on taking a bridge. It looks like the NYPD has set up a perimeter already. These are the things, like, just because of my experience covering protests, you'll notice things like the cops usually patrol the two adjacent blocks. And so what they're going to do is they're going to set up a perimeter to make sure that the protesters don't take this bridge. Because if they take this bridge, they'll back up traffic for hours. And it'll force the NYPD to make a mass arrest. So what they're going to do is they're going to block off. They don't have enough officers right now. But what they're going to try to do is make sure they create a perimeter so that they can't take the bridge. And as you can see, there's enough people here that if they get down here fast enough, they will take this bridge. So we'll see what happens.
Let's go! Let's go! Everybody
All right, this is gonna get interesting. I gotta make sure I'm watching my back. Looks like they haven't realized that it's cut off yet. These people, yeah, some of the people who are trying to take this bridge are deciding to go and turn around. They're realizing that they're not gonna get home. If they're trying to head home, they're not getting home this way. There's still more protesters coming. There's a separation in the crowd, but there's still more people coming, so I don't think it's a good idea for them to come and funnel themselves into this spot right here. This is actually an arrestable offense as they're blocking traffic. So they could end up kettling the whole group. I think it's a better idea to keep moving, but see what happens. Still more protesters coming. There's definitely over 1,000 people here, without a doubt. And we got deputy inspectors. So, as you can see, the strategic response group. It's the department of the NYPD that handles mass protests. And it looks like the protesters are moving around. I don't know if they're gonna... They're backing up. They're creating a chain. The protesters are creating a chain. So this is interesting. I don't know what's going on. I usually only see chains when they're aware that arrests are going to be made and they're trying to protect a group of people. There's a few cars that are inside the chain right now. traffic is starting to turn around. Everybody who's trying to take this bridge is starting to turn around. They're realizing they're not going to get through here. See what you guys are saying and all right.
All right, guys, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take this car.
All right, so the mass arrests are about to start.
Yo, they're taking collars. Everybody clear up!
Oh! All right, there's an arrest being made.
Step back in there.
Charges will be placed against you. If you remain in the roadway and refuse to utilize the sidewalk, you will be placed under arrest and charged with disorderly conduct.
More arrests are being
This
made.
is the New York City Police Department. You are unlawfully in the roadway and obstructing vehicular traffic. Since you have refused to leave the roadway, you will be placed under arrest on the charge of disorderly conduct. If you do not cooperate with the conduct, the arresting officer to the prisoner transport vehicle, or if you refuse to arrest, you may be charged with crime. Since you have refused to leave the roadway, you will be placed under arrest on the charge of disorderly conduct. If you do not cooperate and accompany the arresting officer to the prisoner transport vehicle, or if you resist arrest, you may be charged with additional crimes. Since you have refused to leave the roadway, you will be placed under arrest on the charge of disorderly conduct. If you do not cooperate and accompany the arresting officer to the prisoner transport vehicle, or if you resist arrest, you may be charged with additional crimes. Since you have refused to leave the roadway, you will be placed under arrest on the charge of disorderly conduct. If you do not cooperate and accompany the arresting officer to the prisoner transport vehicle, or if you resist arrest, you may be charged with additional crimes. Since you have refused to leave the roadway, you will...
All right, so part of the protest on this side of the street is going to start moving. The protesters on the other side can't see. They're kind of distracted by the arrest being made, so this is going to be interesting. It looks like the group is going to end up splitting up.
Y'all protest
NYPD! NYPD!
It was all right when y'all protested.
NYPD! NYPD!
When y'all protested, it was all right. It was all right when y'all protested.
Fuck the police!
It was all right when y'all protested.
Fuck the police!
How do you spell racist?
NYPD!
How do you spell murderer?
racist! NYPD! I dispel racist! NYPD! I dispel racist! NYPD! I dispel murder! NYPD! Racist!
Excuse me. All right, so the protest is actually going to start moving. They've already signaled to some of the marshals. I see a signal. All right, so while the officers are making these arrests, the protesters are going to take advantage of it and take the streets. They're currently on 135th and Madison, and so not too far from the original meeting place. I can't tell how many arrests are made. It looks like maybe it was about maybe 4 or 5. I would say a minimum of 5 arrests were made.
Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our people on the outside! Our streets! Move it up! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Tighten the gap! Tighten the gap!
So as you can see, somebody gave the city bus a nice little tattoo there. I'm glad he's masked up. And it gets a little tricky when you're media. You see people doing things that are media worthy, like vandalism, but then you don't necessarily want to expose who they are, their identity. So it's masked up. Protest. There was a lot of pictures that I took. I elected not to post them because there were so many underage people present at the last protest, and I don't think they can fully understand the severity of their actions. they're taking the bridge. All right, so this is going to get interesting. As they try to take the bridge, they're going to fuck up traffic for hours. So the thing with taking the bridge is I'm now putting if I join them on the bridge, I take the risk of arrest.
We're going into the bridge. Take the bridge. Take the bridge. Come on. My team.
No, not the Brooklyn Bridge. We're in Harlem, so the Brooklyn Bridge is nowhere near.
The rest of the team is 4 minutes away.
What?
Yo, we need to tighten this down. Let's go. Tighten the gap.
Alright, so I'm gonna walk down the sidewalk.
Now we walk up this shit because you're not gonna like that.
Get off the sidewalk. Get off the sidewalk.
He rolls one.
Yeah, I know. Someday. You're going to get Sunday. You're going to get Sunday. You're going to get Sunday. You're going to be very good. We always go.
Alright, yo, this is exhilarating. One way to describe it.
So we're crossing the Madison Avenue Bridge going into the Bronx.
How do you spell racist? NYPD. How do you spell racist? NYPD. How do you spell racist?
We got an officer with his nightstick out. So they're gonna go to the other side. Traffic is blocked on this side. So they're going over to the other lane. The police officer can't. So they're going to the other lane because the paddy wagon here is blocking the traffic, and he can't get to the other lane. So they're gonna go on the other side and beat him beat them down to the other side of the Bronx. There's not enough resources right now. All the officers are still over there where the arrests were made, so they cross over into the other lane. This paddy wagon and these motorcycles can't cross over. So they have a free lane all the way into the Bronx. So they're going to try to go and weave through the traffic. Not to pat myself on the back too much, but who on Periscope is giving you this kind of content? I think I should go down in the Perry Hall of Fame for this. Alright, hold on, excuse me, let me get around this. I don't know what's going on. Looks like a block party.
Crossing the border!
There is a large group of NYPD at the end of the bridge. All right, they're letting them through. They're letting them through.
Oh,
they're letting them through. They're letting them through.
All right. No, they can't stop us from going through. Don't stay by yourself. Be careful.
All right, we made it to the other side. As you can see, thousands of people across the bridge successfully evading the damn police. extremely dark. As you see, I'm trying to snap, like, when I'm live streaming, and I'm not used to taking pictures while I'm live streaming, so I'm trying to remember to make sure I get some snaps when I see something that's worth it. My backpedal film game is still good. So I see there's some people in here who are a little confused. Maybe they're not from New York. They've never been in New York, so they don't understand the whole fare evasion thing. Fire to the gentrifier! I'm going to say about a month ago in Chile. To give you some context to what's going on here and why the groups and why it's based around fare evasion is... the government in Chile, the people there, of course, their economy is nowhere near the quote-unquote prosperity of America. There were a lot of, I guess to say, cost of living that was raised in Chile. Primarily the cost of public transit was raised, and Chile, the protesters in Chile decided to do a mass fare evasion. That inspired many groups of people, activists in other countries. And on November 2nd, here in New York, in Brooklyn, there was a mass fare evasion based upon the premise that the NYPD, as it's been ramping up its fare evasion enforcement, and fare evasion is just not paying the fare. It's something that happens a lot in New York City. It's always happened. People would jump to turnstiles. Jumping to turnstiles has been going on forever. I'm pretty sure as long as there's been a fare for public transit in New York City, people have been jumping to turnstiles. My mom's, my father, they've told stories about people jumping to turnstiles. It's, you know, people don't have money, they jump to turnstile. The thing is that recently, jumping a turnstile could possibly cost you your life in NYC. So, NYPD recently, about 3 weeks ago, a young man who the police claim had a gun, they said a reliable source or a credible source said that this young man had a gun, and that was the reason for them confronting an entire train car of commuters with their guns drawn. They apprehended the young man, and no gun was found. That was one incident that happened just a month ago. There was another incident where there were some young kids in the train in Brooklyn, and an officer repeatedly punched a 16-year-old. I believe he was like 15, 16 years old. repeatedly punched in the face by this officer as they apprehended him. And it sparked a lot of outrage amongst the citizens, leading to approximately 2,000 people taking the streets back on November 2nd. This protest here is a follow-up. It is the sequel to that protest that took place on November 2nd. So that's just to give you guys a little bit of context. Hopefully no one's been killed for jumping. I'm not aware of it. But given the way things are going on these days, I wouldn't be surprised if someone eventually does get killed for jumping a turnstile, unfortunately. All right, so it looks like NYPD is actually caught up with the protest. There's a few vans, there's a few SUVs.
Fuck the police! Let's go! Woo!
What a dumbass.
So we are on 139th and Morris. We're in the Bronx. Typically, I've been in quite a few protests that have gone to the Bronx, and usually what happens is we end up on 149th and Grand Concourse, which is a major hub in the Bronx.
We keep us safe. We keep us safe. Who keeps us safe? We keep us safe. Who keeps us safe? We keep us safe. We keep us safe. Who keeps us safe? We keep us safe. We keep us safe. Who keeps us safe? Welcome to the motherfucking. Everybody say stop Bronx! Stop Bronx! Stop Bronx! Stop Bronx! South Bronx! South Bronx! South Bronx! South Bronx! This is a song by KHARI. What? Y'all gotta fucking learn it. Ready? South Bronx! South Bronx!
Talia, I'm here. Where are you?
Who keeps us safe?
We keep us safe.
Who keeps us safe?
We keep us safe.
Shout out to President Trump!
As you can see, over an hour in, and you can still see the protest is really, really strong. There's a lot of people out here. Try to get back towards the front. We're now on 141st and 3rd Ave. Again, thank you. As you can see my face. Thank you to everybody who's sharing on Twitter. I appreciate everybody sharing, everybody who sends super hearts. I appreciate it for supporting the school. You don't necessarily have to send money. You don't need to send money to support the school. One of the best ways to support is you can go and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will be uploading this on YouTube, and that way it can generate money through ads. So simply subscribing to my YouTube, allowing me to monetize the YouTube channel is a way to support. So I appreciate everybody who's if you hit the link in my bio, there's a bunch of ways to support. If you don't use Super Hearts, just PayPal, Cash App. There's plenty of ways to help me out. But sharing is the most important. So if you're on Twitter, if you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Reddit, take the copy the link to the stream, go throw it into one of those websites, and give your opinion. The whole point of me streaming is to let people know what's going on out here. There's always talk about fake news. You always hear conversations about fake news. Well, I don't put a spin on it. You get to see it is for what it is. You've seen the arrest. You've seen the chants. You hear the chants. There's no edits here. This is all live. So you can go and make your own decision about what's going on here, how you feel about it. But that's the whole point of me live streaming. I'm a visual journalist. I'm not a writer. I don't do opinion pieces or anything. Whatever's in front of me, I capture it and I share it. So the best way to help me out is to help more people see what I'm sharing. So hit that share button, hit the follow button. Legendary Ciphers, my hip hop stream, will be ending, and I'll probably be doing a lot more protests. So if this is something that interests you, hit that follow button, man. Thank you, Brooklyn, Maine. I appreciate you, bro. I don't got time to. My hands are cold. It's cold out here. So I don't have time to go and mute and block everybody. But that's what we got moderators for. Shout out to my whole OG crew. They've been rolling with me for about 3 years now. 3-4 years I've been doing this Periscope thing. Shout out to all my OGs.
NYPD! NYPD! NYPD!
So I don't know where we're headed. We're probably headed to Grand Concourse, like I said earlier. We're on 144th Street and 3rd Ave still. So we're just walking through the hood. I actually used to live on 168th. I didn't come on this side too often, but there's been a few times I've been on this side of the Bronx. Yes, I will be at the Cypher. As soon as this dies down, I'm headed right down to Union Square for Legendary Ciphers. It's not a long trip. It's not a long trip at all. So I will be headed to Legendary Ciphers as soon as I leave here. So it's a long night for me. Marching through Harlem all the way into the Bronx, and then I'm gonna be hitting the Cypher later. So if you're watching right now and you're a fan of hip hop, hit that follow button, because there will be a stream a little later with some of the best MCs in New York City. Yes, there's one more left. We got tonight, we got Black Friday, and I think there's one more after Black Friday. So technically three if you don't count today. Two more after tonight. No problem, Steve. Thank you, man. Thank you for watching. Shout out to everybody who supports ISSA KHARI, man. Trying to grind. It's really, really hard grinding as an independent artist and independent journalist, but got to put in the work, man. You put in the work and people recognize you for it. So shout out to everybody who follows and supports and hits me up with tweets and DMs. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate everybody, every last viewer. Whether you're trolling, yo, please do. Make sure you hit that retweet to Twitter. Hit the retweet to Twitter button. I am live on Twitter as well. And if you're on Facebook, if you got any groups, Facebook groups, any Reddit subreddits that you're into that this material feels like it fits there, please do share. Matter of fact, copy the link and text it to somebody who's interested in activism, or they feel like they're the only one who feels like something can't be done. You know, there's times where people, because of the internet, you can reach out to plenty of people across the world, even if you feel like you're the only one in your little small segment of the world who thinks a certain way. Sometimes watching something like this inspires somebody to make change in their neighborhood. So I got my whole bag of gear on my back. It's kind of take a picture of this. Damn, I feel like I should get a chicken sandwich, man. All right, so we are pulling up on 149th. So you guys, there's enough light so you can actually see how many people are actually out here right now.
We will make your prison small, brick by brick, wall by wall. We will make your prison small.
What up, bro?
Hey! You the one I saw down there?
I saw, yeah. All right, so it looks like they're going headed into the train station. All right, here we go.
Watch your step! Watch your step!
Watch your step! Watch your step!
Excuse me.
Sorry about that. Good. So you can know what's going on!
So you can know what's going on!
Some people went down the station!
Some people went down the station!
You say fuck the MTA!
You say fuck the MTA!
Fuck their 275!
Fuck their 275!
Fuck criminal criminalizing the poor. For criminalizing the poor. And they're going to beautify the place.
And they're going to beautify the place.
Not everyone can fit down there.
Not everyone can fit down there.
So we're going to wait over here.
So we're going to wait over here.
And maybe we don't have to be on the street.
Maybe we don't have to be on the street.
So they don't pick us off.
So they don't pick us off.
And we have a final destination in mind.
And we have a final destination in mind.
That we'll go to all together.
That we'll go to all together.
Another thing that you need to know.
Another thing that you need to know.
That there's been 15 arrests so far.
There's been 15 arrests so far.
One busted head from a comrade.
One busted head from a comrade.
Because the cops are bitches.
Because the cops are bitches.
Fuck the cops. So, let's just keep each other safe.
Let's keep each other safe.
And do a little chanting.
And do a little chanting.
And have our banners looking good.
And have our banners looking good.
And then we'll head to our final destination in a second.
And then we'll head to our final destination in a second.
How does that feel?
I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna go head downstairs real quick to see what's going on.
Our streets. Our streets.
What?
Our streets.
Actually, you know what? It looks like they're moving. I don't want to lose the main crowd, so I'm not heading down there after all.
Right now.
On 145th Street. And the people that just come are coming from over here. So we can start making our way. Slowly. Be careful. Why are you going again?
FTP, fuck the police! FTP, fuck the police! FTP, fuck the police!
Fuck the police. We keep us safe.
You don't got an Android wire on you real quick, do you?
Nah.
Come on. Our streets.
Yo, dog, where you at?
Good?
Not spoken?
You good, you good.
Mic check. Mic check. Mic check.
You guys the right way?
Mic check.
Mic check.
We are here. We are here. In front of Horizon. In front of Horizon. I don't know who's over there. AKA. Right for kids.
Right for kids.
In our march. We highlighted. We highlighted.
They're their own men. They're their own men.
Trying to make a living. Trying to make a living. But they remain attacked. But they remain attacked.
Don't come to the Bronx. This is over.
NYPD.
They are no longer the same. They weren't, but the police changed. We adjust. Like,
Never forget.
that there's we know he doesn't. They have a giant. What the fuck I'm gonna teach them? That's not time for this. That's not time for this. He knows how to do. Wake up. Real quick.
Now y'all closing the circle. Can y'all stretch that Wakufu banner out real quick, please? Let's stretch it out and face these folks. I want to just give the black people here some education. When we started off in Harlem, we started there for a purpose. To show solidarity and respect to the young brother that got pounced on 125th Street for selling candy. We chose Harlem because that is the home of the Black Renaissance. We stand on the shoulders of black scholars that took a risk, black revolutionaries that took a risk. Allow us to be here right now. That is why we are here. So this red, black, and green. Red is for the blood, black is for the people, and green is for the land. We are encouraging, and if y'all didn't know, this is why accountability, one of the organizers. We encourage black people to wake up. That means understand the world for what it really is, not fantasy land. Know who your enemies are. Clean up. Clean up. That means abandoning self-defeating behaviors. What does that mean? Self-defeating behaviors. Kissing whitey ass. Being in denial about police brutality. Thinking your degree is gonna get you out of getting your ass kicked. Thinking your salary doesn't mean you don't get redlined or gentrified. Thinking your pocketbook makes you better than the young lady in the public assistance office. That is what clean up means. Wake up, clean up. And finally, stand up. Standing up means you have the courage to fight your enemies. All of us standing here in an unpermitted march, we are courageous. Your homework is to inspire that courage in other black and brown people. That's your homework. When we do FTP3, you better bring 2 people with you. Every one of y'all. Wake up, clean up, and stand up. I want everybody to say after me, Wukusu! 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 I want to thank all of y'all for coming out. What we're gonna do right now is, because we do have arrests, it is time for jail support. And this is the other piece. Don't come out here clowning because the night is not over. You have to support people that have taken the risks and now they are in custody. So we will be given information on where to do jail support. If that means we have to go to One Police Plaza, if that means we're going to 100 Center Street, if that means we're going to the 32nd Precinct, that is where we have to go. It's not just now go home and leave people in the tank by themselves. Do we understand this? Yes. Do we understand this? Yes. Because it can't be 6 people at jail support. Because at FTP3, I'm going to curse y'all motherfuckers out. So what we're going to do now, in the interest of time and safety, and to support the folks that are now in custody, political prisoners. They are political prisoners. We're going to asada it out. White people, don't do it. Please don't. Hey, this is in our Black Panther Party tradition and the tradition of Assata Shakur. We're going to respect our ancestors. We're going to respect political prisoners that are still fighting for our rights, no matter where they are in this world. Africans all across the world must unite. Fuck ADOS. That's right.
Big facts.
So we're going to asada it out. White people stay quiet. Then we're going to move on to a safe space where people can choose how they move on. We all got that? Yes. All right, we ready? Yeah. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. It is our duty to win. We must love each other and protect each other. We must love each other and protect each other. We have nothing to lose but our chains. We have nothing to lose but our chains. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. It is our duty to win. We must love each other and other.
We must love each other and support each other.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love each other and support each other.
We must love each other and support each other.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
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 All right, you're gonna stay in the quiet. Banners face toward Westchester Avenue. Let's get these banners to the front. Our resistance action has ended, but we want to get everyone to a safe space. We have some safe spaces, so we're going to do that. Y'all want to get out? Let's go.
Fuck the CO! Eat a dick!
Fuck the police!
Army camp, suck my dick!
One mic.
Excuse me. Pardon me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Hi guys. So this FTP2, as they call it, the follow-up to the November 2nd demonstration against NYPD's fair beat and evasion policy. I'm going to end this scope. I'm going to find the nearest train, and I'm going to head down to Union Square so I can hit legendary ciphers. I want to thank everybody who's watching this scope. I know it got a little choppy. If you go down to YouTube, follow the YouTube, you'll be able to find the full stream in HD quality. There's nothing I can do about the quality, the connection. Usually when you head towards buildings like this is a juvenile detention center. Internet connections always get shaky when you're around these type of these buildings, and I'm pretty sure NYPD is aware of me broadcasting right now, so it's probably the reason why the connection got choppy. We're heading away from the juvenile detention center. I'm gonna head towards the nearest train, and I'm gonna head out. So I will see you guys if you're following. I'll see you in a little bit. If you're not following, hit the follow button so I can see you too. Headed down to Union Square. Peace and love, everybody. Oh man, this thing is acting up. My hands are cold too. Yo. Peace and love, everybody. Connection is getting really crazy. I'll see y'all in a little while.